We're going to stick with the socially conscious theme, but we're going to switch over to the other side of the balance sheet, and we're going to talk about investing and about what socially conscious investing will look like in the digital age. And to talk about this, we are honored to have the CEO of Motif, Hardeep Walia. Please welcome him. He's got some props too.
Good morning. I have a proposition. If you put money in this box, I promise you I'll outperform the market. And if you put money in this box, you won't get a bill. I don't have much money. Oh, there we go. Thank you. That's great. Thanks so much. I owe you now. And if you put money in this box, you won't get a bill. 4 times a year, I'll take whatever money I want out of this box for my service. You'll just have to trust me to take the right amount out. And 4 times a year, I'll actually tell you what's in this box, but I'll bury it in paperwork and make it hard to find. And for those of you who do find the information, it'll be 30 to 60 days out of date. And despite my reassurances that I will outperform the market, I have about a 1 in 10 chance of doing so. And for those of you who I do make money for, I take a third of it away in fees. How many of you want to put money in this box? All of you have money in this box. 96 million Americans have $25 trillion in this box. And with all the money in this box, I thought it'd be interesting to see what could be inside. So let's open up the box. So, some of you see this fur as just the latest fashion accessory. Some of you see this as something that used to belong to an animal. But how many of you knew that there is a resurgence in the fur trade, and demand for fur is at a 10-year high? Some of you see this oil canister, and you think vital energy and jobs. Some of you, all you can see are carbon emissions. But how many of you know that 2/3 of the industrial greenhouse gases come from just 92 companies? Some of you see a cell phone. Some of you know this is an outdated model too. But many of you worry about some of the components here being the product of child labor. But I wonder how many of you know that 1 in 5 cell phones is tainted with the blood and sweat of Congolese children toiling away in cobalt mines. And it gets worse, I'm sorry. Some of you see a toy. Some of you know the story behind this toy. But how many of you know that 50% of the companies that fund cluster bombs, banned in many developed countries, are here in the United States? And it is these cluster bombs that cost this 4-year-old Syrian girl her life a few months ago. And then there's this. Some of you may remember this. The proverbial $1,200 executive wastebasket. It's pretty heavy. Some people just see this as a wastebasket. Some of you see this as just waste, a symbol of corporate excess. But how many of us know that in the last 35 years, CEO pay is up 1,000% while their workers are only up 10%? And more startling is how many of you know that the highest paid CEOs run the worst performing companies? So much for pay for performance. And then there is this. the instruction manual that our regulators and governments put inside the box. Somewhere in these 155 pages, I'm supposed to figure out how all of this works and how much I'm paying. So some of this might have surprised some of you, what was in the box. Some of you might be upset about it. Some of you, it might even violate who you are as a human being. So if we're all concerned about what's in the box, why do we continue to put money in this box? I don't know, maybe we just don't care. But of course we care. How many of you recycle? And I'm not talking about putting in a bottle here or there. I'm talking about the way my wife makes me do it every Sunday, where you actually go through every piece and put it into neatly organized buckets. How many of you turn off the energy before you go to work? Not to save energy, but you do it because it's the right thing for the environment and it's the right thing for your children. How many of you, when you're at the grocery stores, you look for that grass-fed beef because you want to avoid factory farms? Or last night over dinner, you asked the waiter, hey, that sea bass, was it caught with the right fishing net? More and more of you are driving hybrids. More and more of you are getting rid of water bottles. So yes, we care. And it isn't just as Americans that care. In an annual survey done by Nielsen, 66% of global online users across 60 countries said they would pay more for products built by companies committed to a sustainable environment and social causes. 66%. And they're all voting. More and more of us are voting with those dollars. This 66% did not change by income level. More and more of us are voting with our dollars. We're voting when every time we make a decision to buy a Canada Goose jacket or shop for organic foods, our values shape our lifestyle choices, and our lifestyle choices shape our value system. More and more people are voting, but they're only voting with some of their dollars. They're only voting with their consumption dollars. And that's a shame because they're more investing dollars than consumption dollars. And unlike your consumption dollars, you get to hold on to your investing dollars and vote them every quarter and every month and every year. But most people don't know they can vote their investing dollars. So what we decided to do is we sponsored in January a third-party study to ask people, investors, Americans, how they think about putting their investing dollars to work. And this is what they told us. Post the 2016 election, personal values are no longer that conversation you have with friends over dinner. It is a national conversation that we're having as a country. And we're willing to engage in these discussions with people we don't know, even strangers on social media. 83% of Americans said they care about their personal values when it comes to making investment decisions. 68% said they would change their decisions if they saw anything violating their investment decisions. 57% said they'd be angry. We all know there's a lot of anger out there right now, but only 42% say they regularly invest consistent with their values. And the numbers for women and millennials, the two fastest growing segments in digital wealth, were even higher. So why are we willing to vote with just our consumption dollars? It's because they're locked up here in this black box. So the good news is that a lot of people are trying to solve this problem. A lot of people are going out there trying to get better research, better data analytics, so that we all can make informed decisions no matter what your values are. There are companies out there who are building financial products and that are catered to your social values. And these are great steps in the right direction. But the problem with a lot of our social values is they're very personal by their very definition. It's very hard for someone else to understand your value system. And despite what you might see on financial product labels, there is no USDA to certify that product as organic. So, what if there was another way, another type of box, and this box was transparent? What if this was your own personal box, right? So you could see what was in it, you could define what goes into it and what comes out of it. And so if you were interested in promoting fair trade, you could do that. If you were interested in investing in companies that promote diversity and you wanted to celebrate human equality, thank you, that you could do that. And if you found a Volkswagen or a company that you disagreed with, you could replace it with a Honda. All you would have to do is tell this box your values, what you want in, what you want out, and it would help do that. And so that is the future that we at Motif see. We see this transparent box. And today, we're announcing for the first time a product, a digital wealth product that's truly built about your value system. And unlike other products, it really screens out things you care about and things you don't. And so in a matter of minutes, you can tell us your financial goals. We'll build you a 7-asset class asset allocation model. And instead of using ETFs and funds, we use Motifs, tradable baskets of stocks. And so in this model, you will own up to 210 securities. And then we ask you, what do you care about? Do you care about a sustainable planet? Do you care about fair labor? Do you care about good corporate behavior? And what we will do is we've partnered with MSCI and we use their ESG data to remove companies from your portfolios that don't align with who you are, don't align with your values. And we then replace them with equivalent securities that give you the same exposure. So your asset model is intact. And all along, everything you own, you get to see. What you see on your computer screen, you actually own. So if we miss anything, if someone misses anything, if new data comes along, you can go ahead and take that out. And it won't cost you an additional trading cost or an additional fees. All you pay is a Spotify music subscription. For $9.95, you can invest as much as you want, as frequently as you want, across all of your accounts. It will only cost you $9.95. I have this running in my 401k account, 3 IRAs, 2 trading accounts, and it still costs us $9.95 across all of these accounts. And unlike other products out there, there are no BIPs. So you get to see what you own, and if you don't like it, you can take it out of the box and replace it with something else. We're also announcing today the Motif No Compromise Guarantee. If you take one of our models, apply a values filter, and it underperforms its benchmark by more than 1%, we'll pay your fees back. We want to commit to people acting on their values. Why would we offer such a thing? Because we know doing good isn't just good for your soul. It actually is good for your financial health too. So we've got a lot more to share, and we hope you stop by our booth. And if you do come by our booth, we will give you a printed, custom printed shirt where you get to tell us your values, and we'll print a shirt for you. And we want to do this to really do two things. We think people are going to start talking more and more about their values. And they're going to talk more and more about having impact out there. And so we thought we'd just give you a bit of a head start. Come visit us. We're at booth 726. Thank you very much.